It's not an easy week to be biking 500 miles from the Republican convention in Cleveland to the Democratic convention in Philly.
This extraordinary expansive heat wave continues.
This could be some of the hottest air we've seen in 3 to 4 years.
Temperatures could feel more like 100 degrees. Whew.
I needed a miracle, and who better to answer my prayers than the nuns on the bus? Hello! Hello, sister! You got a great bus and you're making the same journey as we are!
You want to come along? We can take you part way.
I appreciate it. Anything for a little rash. Hard to beat this bus. I used to be the kind of kid who'd always sit at the back of the bus and get in trouble. I was never up there in the front. So this is
a group back there, they cause some trouble.
We can't believe that you're doing this whole ride, so the least we could do was to give you a lift. Just a little bit to rest up.
Catholic charity to a man.
Exactly, giving rides to bikers. That's really good.
To start, why nuns on the bus?
Well, we're on the bus because we know that right now in our nation, things are being torn apart by politicization, about polarization, and we're on the road to say we're better than that. We can come together. And what better group to give that message than a group of Catholic sisters?
I've got my uniform on.
I know you do. You almost match mine.
You sisters aren't wearing your uniform.
Oh, we are. We have our Nuns on the Bus t-shirts.
It is, I guess, half the battle, but a lot of people still have these antiquated views of what a nun might look like. Why do you guys utterly forgo that? Really
good question, because we don't wear uniforms the way we used to with the big things, because we know that in order to be with the people at the margins, we need to look more like them. We need to not be intimidating. There's two ways to be a sign in our society, a sign of faith. One is through a big, elaborate habit where you could say, look at me, I am a witness to this way of being. Or the other way is the way we choose, which is to look like ordinary people, but where we meet is entering into the dialogue, walking with people who are suffering and at the margins of our society.
You're saying mending the gap. What is the gap?
The gap is the distance between those at the top and those at the bottom. The fact that most of the recovery money is going to people at the top, and our people in the middle class and at the bottom, they're struggling. The lowest 20% of our population has lost 9% of their income in the last 34 years. Lost ground in 34 years. People don't know that. And so what we have to do is have conversations across those divides.
The bus itself is a metaphor that obviously in American history, buses have been a part of great movements. How did you come across the idea of bus, and why not bikes?
Oh, well, if we could do bikes, I'd do it, because I love my bike in DC. But the fact is we get a lot further faster, and as you can notice, some of us are getting old. So we couldn't quite do the long distance haul you're doing. But it's also a way of community. So
first time in America's history we may have a female president. How do you feel about female priests?
Well, the Episcopalians seem to do real well with them, and I don't know, it could be a good idea. I know some women in our church feel really called to that.
And in this election you have two candidates, neither of whom are very vocal about their religious beliefs. What do you think that says about the overall winds of the political discourse when you have a born-again baby Christian out of Trump and Hillary doesn't invoke prayer
the quiet Methodist, yes. You know, in some ways that can be good, because I sometimes doubt people when they trot out their faith like a sweater. Oh, look at my faith, I've got the right color sweater or the right badge, and that's not what faith is about. The real way faith enters into our decisions is about affecting our values, affecting what we care about, like reaching out to find how can we create living wages for people who are working hard, or what do we do about the immigration issue. That comes from a deep place of reverencing the dignity of all people, which is a faith stance. So I don't care so much if they, in fact, I sometimes feel better than if they trotted out their religious label. I'd rather see their religious values in action. That's what I look for. And I think most Catholics do too.
And Trump isn't always quiet about it. Trump says his favorite book is the Bible.
My second favorite book of all time. What's my first favorite book? The Bible!
Nothing beats the Bible, not even the art of the deal.
It's not even close. The Bible's much of it. It's not even close.
The thing is, I wish there'd been a follow-up question to ask him about a book of the Bible that he really likes and see what would happen, but that didn't happen. It strikes me, he wants to be so liked and wants to be the star of everything.
Actually, I got my biggest hand the other night when I said that.
It worries me that he's that eager that he would just say what he thinks needs to be said, regardless of where he comes from on the inside. And I just hope he can find a way to touch his real person and let that show. Stop the reality television. Let us see who you really are, please. And I think it would be better for him in the long run.
The church has a history of being involved in politics. Do you think that's important, or do you think the church should be in the spiritual realm alone?
Oh my gosh, as Pope Francis says, we need to meddle in politics. Pope Francis Catholics are the ones who see the exploitation of our people, the exploitation of our earth, and the fact that policies make a difference, that we can make change happen. One of the questions we ask everybody is, who in your family is it difficult to talk to about politics and why? And everybody laughs and says, oh, somebody. In both parties, there's division and polarization. And so therefore, we're taking our message to both conventions, that we, the people, need to heal. And that means talking to each other, not yelling at each other.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a great ride. Now I'm sad to be heading back on the real road.